I want to tell you about a real situation that might feel strangely relatable. A 72-year-old retired school teacher named Margaret had nearly accepted something she never imagined would happen to her this soon. She used to be active, strolling every evening after dinner, and even dedicating hours in her garden on weekends looking after her roses and herbs with a sort of quiet satisfaction that gave her routine purpose. But over the previous year, she observed something that gradually began to strip that comfort away from her. Her digestion had decelerated in a manner that didn't seem temporary. Her energy started to drop after meals, even when she ate sparingly. And most concerning of all, she frequently felt a stubborn heaviness in her lower abdomen that appeared to remain no matter what she tried. Some days she would rest in her favorite chair by the window, gaze outside at the same garden she once maintained so effortlessly, and feel like standing back up demanded more effort than it should. It wasn't pain exactly. It was a sort of internal pushback, as if her body had quietly transitioned into a slower mode without seeking her consent. And what made it more aggravating was that nothing about her lifestyle had drastically shifted. She wasn't consuming junk food. She wasn't sedentary, yet something felt wrong. When she eventually raised this with her doctor, she anticipated hearing something complex, maybe a prescription, maybe a list of limitations. But instead, her doctor offered her an answer that was both straightforward and at first a little unexpected. He clarified that what she was going through wasn't uncommon. In fact, it was remarkably prevalent after the age of 60. The digestive system naturally starts to decelerate. Muscle contractions in the intestines grow less effective, hydration in the digestive tract diminishes, and the body's capacity to process certain foods shifts gradually over time. Then he posed her a question she hadn't encountered in years. "Do you eat prunes regularly?" Margaret nearly laughed. She couldn't recall the last time she had even considered prunes, let alone incorporated them in her daily routine. Like many people, she had quietly classified them as something old-fashioned or only for severe situations, but her doctor didn't present them as a solution for something extreme. Instead, he described them as a form of gentle assistance, something simple that could help her body recover a sense of rhythm. He recommended one small adjustment, just a small portion of prunes every morning for 2 weeks. No radical diet restructuring, no rigid rules, no elimination of foods she loved, just consistency with one addition. Margaret agreed, though without much anticipation. If anything, she figured the outcome would be negligible at best. The opening few days didn't feel noticeably different, but she did detect something subtle. Her digestion felt slightly easier, not in a way that made her instantly thrilled, but enough to make her stop and take notice. By the conclusion of the first week, the heaviness she typically felt after meals wasn't as persistent. It still surfaced occasionally, but it no longer characterized her entire day. By day 14, something changed more distinctly. During her follow-up visit, she said something that really resonated. "I feel like my body is cooperating with me again, not fighting me." That sentence may sound basic, but for someone who had been quietly suffering, it represented a significant shift in how she experienced her day. This is not a story about a wonder food or a radical transformation. It's about comprehending what changes inside the body after 60 and why certain simple decisions begin to carry more weight than they used to. Because the reality is, after 60, your body doesn't necessarily require more complexity. It requires better support. One of the most significant transitions that occurs with age is a gradual slowing of digestive motion. The muscles that help propel food through your system don't cease working, but they lose some of their effectiveness. This can result in delayed digestion, sensations of fullness, and irregular patterns that feel unpredictable. At the same time, many seniors unknowingly decrease their fiber consumption. Sometimes it's because of changes in appetite. Other times, it's because of worries about sugar and fruits, which causes them to avoid certain natural fiber sources entirely. Prunes stand out because they tackle multiple dimensions of this issue simultaneously. They contain both soluble and insoluble fiber, which function together to promote smoother digestion. Soluble fiber helps soften what passes through your system, while insoluble fiber provides structure and stimulates movement. But beyond fiber, prunes also contain natural compounds that gently activate the digestive process, not forcefully, not abruptly, but in a way that supports the body's natural cadence. And that word cadence becomes incredibly significant after 60, because what many people encounter is not constant discomfort, but inconsistency. Some days feel fine, other days feel sluggish, heavy, or uncomfortable. That unpredictability can be maddening because it makes it harder to organize your day or feel assured in how your body will react. Foods like prunes help reestablish that sense of regularity. They don't push your system into action. They simply assist it in accomplishing what it's already attempting to do. And over time, that gentle assistance creates a more dependable pattern. There's also another element that doesn't get discussed nearly enough, and that is hydration within the digestive system. As we age, the body tends to hold less water in the colon. This can make digestion feel tougher, slower, and less pleasant. Prunes naturally help attract moisture into the digestive process, making movement easier without producing strain. Margaret characterized this change in a very relatable manner. She said, "It feels like things are finally progressing at the proper pace again." That sense of ease is frequently what people miss the most, not merely the absence of discomfort, but the restoration of a normal, steady cadence. Another error many seniors make is believing that eating less will resolve digestive discomfort. When meals feel heavy, the impulse is often to cut portion sizes or eliminate certain foods altogether. But in many instances, the problem isn't the volume of food, it's the absence of proper digestive support. Without sufficient fiber and hydration, even regular meals can feel challenging to process. Prunes help bridge that gap quietly. They don't overwhelm the system or demand drastic adjustments. They simply deliver the kind of assistance that becomes more essential with age. There's also a link between digestion and energy that frequently goes unrecognized. When your digestive system is laboring, your body has to work harder internally to handle food. This can leave you feeling exhausted after meals, even if what you consumed wasn't particularly heavy. When digestion becomes more streamlined, that extra energy requirement decreases. Margaret observed this too. She didn't suddenly feel vibrant all day, but her afternoon weariness became less pronounced. She found herself able to remain active a little longer, whether it was dedicating more time outside or simply feeling less compelled to sit down immediately after eating. Now, if you're assuming this only pertains to people with obvious digestive troubles, it's worth rethinking that. Many seniors occupy a middle category where things aren't drastically wrong, but they're also not as effortless as they once were. That's precisely where small, steady changes can produce the greatest difference. Consistency matters considerably more than quantity. Consuming a large portion sporadically won't generate the same effect as a small daily practice. The body responds to patterns. It adjusts when it detects consistency. That's why something as basic as a daily serving can have a more substantial impact than occasional changes. There's also a growing recognition around the significance of gut balance. While it may sound clinical, the fundamental concept is simple. A healthier gut environment promotes better digestion, enhanced nutrient absorption, and overall comfort. Prunes contribute to this equilibrium in a natural way, nurturing the environment your body depends on. Margaret didn't begin this journey with knowledge of gut health or biological processes. She simply followed a recommendation, but sometimes that's sufficient, because the body often understands what to do when provided the right support. After roughly a month, she stopped characterizing her digestion as a problem altogether. Instead, she said it felt normal again. And that word normal carries tremendous significance in senior health. It doesn't mean flawless. It means stable, predictable, and comfortable. If you take a step back and examine the broader picture, this isn't about prunes alone. It's about acknowledging that your body evolves over time, and what succeeded before may not succeed the same way now. That doesn't indicate things are deteriorating. It simply means your body has different requirements. Disregarding those changes often results in gradual discomfort, but attending to them, even in modest ways, can make everyday life feel considerably better. Margaret's story is not remarkable. It mirrors a pattern doctors observe frequently. People adjusting quietly to discomfort because they presume it's simply part of aging, until they learn that small modifications can make a genuine difference. If there's one concept to take forward, it's this: your body is not demanding extreme changes, it's requesting consistent support. And sometimes that support arrives in the shape of something simple that you stopped incorporating years ago. As you reflect on your own routine, it may be worth posing yourself a simple question. Have you detected subtle shifts that you've been dismissing? Not because they're severe, but because they seem tolerable. Those small signals are often the earliest indicators of what your body requires. And when you address them early, the improvements don't need to be spectacular to be meaningful. They just need to make your day feel a little smoother, a little lighter, and a little more predictable. Because after 60, it's not about doing everything differently. It's about recognizing what sustains your body now and organizing around that in a way that feels natural and sustainable.